I'd like to welcome you to the show. Introduce you to me. Hope you like what you see, baby, like what you see. I would like to welcome you to the show. Introduce you to me. Give me something to talk about. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. You're looking so nice. Hey, we shining bright. I would like to sing for you a couple songs that I wrote, but let me clear my throat so I could give you something different than I did last time. I would like to propose a toast. Salute. May all you hold dear and close. Do right and keep you smiling for the rest of your life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Living Room TRT, and welcome to the Rand and Tune Show.
Woody woo!
Man, let me tell you something, man. There was a whole lot of difficulty going on in this place here tonight, but we did it. We got contact. Tom said, "Stay cool. We gonna get it done tonight. We just gotta keep our whereabouts. We just got to keep our composure. It's going to get done." I said, all right, we're going to do it tonight. We're going to do it tonight. So welcome. We're late, but welcome. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Hope you like and subscribe. Man, that's what I hope you do. He's just going to set the fan on himself.
I didn't do it.
He froze the fan on himself.
Don't make this about me.
Okay, so why would you stop the fan from circulating?
Because you're getting in the middle. It's not directed at me.
No, the thing is, you stopped the fan. Why didn't you just let it circulate?
Because it wasn't working. If we can get direct air coming direct at us, wouldn't that be a little better?
I don't know.
Being that we limit the cool air that we're using today?
I don't know.
Trying to conserve energy?
Trying to conserve energy. Anyway, tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen, is about financial literacy. Some of us may know it, some of us may not. Some of us may care, some of us may not care. Some of us may say it's not me. Some of us may say, you know what, this may help me tonight. This may help me get my financial self together, you know. So I hope as we go through this, it works out. Now, it's funny because somebody had brought this to my attention. I had to watch a couple of other people who talk about financial literacy, and it's funny because everybody doesn't have the same literacy, excuse me. Everybody doesn't have the same plan, same programs. They don't follow the same regimen. Everything is different. So I thought that was cool. I said, you know what, that's something we should talk about. Maybe a lot of our people don't know. Maybe they don't care to know. But I figured, you know what, let's give it a shot. We could find out something. Maybe we might learn something ourselves. Let's see. Now, first things first, let's find out what is financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
That is the ability to understand and make use of a variety of financial skills, including personal financial management and budgeting and investing. So basically, it's all about you. It's saving, spending, and knowing how to regroup. I understand why they put financial management and budgeting in the same thing. It's funny how in financial literacy, they can consider investing financial literacy, but it's basically giving away money, right?
No, it's basically getting an understanding of what you want to do with your money.
Okay.
It's the literacy part of it, as far as I understand, is understanding what it takes to have financial literacy,
right?
The understanding of the skill that you need and knowledge based on, well, the basics is paying your bills first. So
right.
That's something I'm also trying to do, financial literacy. So
right.
That's why this topic was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it, but I don't have it under control yet. So there is a difference. You can understand what it takes for it,
right?
But for you to follow through, a lot of us have difficulty.
Okay, so you know what? Let's go through the three key components of financial literacy, and then we'll take up the conversation from there. We'll converse from there. An up-to-date budget. Some tend to look at the word budget as a tantamount to the word diet, but at its most basic, a budget is just a spending plan. 2, detective save what? Detected savings and savings to spend. I don't get that. See, that's why I wanted to do it, because I disagree with a lot of things. And here the last is ID theft prevention. Here's my thing on financial literacy. There are some people who are put in a situation where they're able to save a large amount of money. And when I say a large amount of money, some people are able to put away maybe 50 to 60, almost to $200 a pay period. To me, that's a lot. If you're able to put that away, that's a lot. But there are some people who are not. So with your financial literacy, I think it has to come to what you make a year. So basically, if you're a person who makes $30,000 a year, you're really going to bring home maybe, I'd say close to maybe 18, 19. I mean, maybe I'm giving you too much there too, because you basically, the IRS cuts you in half. Am I correct?
Close.
So
the financial literacy of it is not the amount, is what you do with the amount that you have.
Right.
Because based on the amount that you get on a yearly is what puts you in a certain category.
In a certain bracket.
Right. So if you live on a certain level and you're able to make your yearly income work for you,
right,
just the understanding of how to do that would be the literacy of budgeting your finances.
There are a lot of people who, like I said, we had this conversation before when we first started it. You called me back and I said, but does that depend? Like, if you're a person who's making 10 to 15,000 a year, how are you able to? The average budget of a working person has to be at least, can't say that?
Not really, because that's why you got levels of how people are living. Some people are living on the level of, like you saying, the person that you was considering saying that they able to put away 50, 100 or $200, they got actually, they're on the higher level.
Right.
That they're able to do that. But somebody on a lesser budget has to work with the budget that they have.
My thing is how hard is it for a person to save when you need? It's not easy to save, because the way I look at it, if you're a person who you take a risk of saving your money by putting it under your mattress, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying the money collects no interest. There's a possibility that you put your money in the bank, you're able to collect interest, but the moment you slip, the moment you mess up, people can freeze your account.
Well, that's the literacy of it, to understand how you want to save your money to get to where you need to go.
Right.
So you have to, as you said in the beginning, you have to have a plan. Mostly everything starts with a plan, because your plan is your budget, as you said.
Right.
Once you make that budget and you're able to stick to it, that's the problem that we have, and I also have that problem sticking.
A lot of people doesn't stick
to the budget or the plan that I put forth.
And you know what's funny too, because as we look into the third component, it says to you identity theft. Like, a lot of people really don't use that. A lot of people don't really use it unless if you're signing up for a company who already provides it.
The people who don't use it don't have the literacy to understand what can happen by not having it. By not having the security, you're susceptible to hackers and things like that. Whereas not saying that they can prevent you, but they can shield you. It won't be so easy for somebody to take your money or hack into your finances if you have some type of security.
I don't know.
Why you don't?
I don't know, because my thing is,
you think it's more secure to put your money in the mattress?
I think it's I don't know, because either way you take a risk. Put your money on the mattress and invest it in yourself, which means you bring in every dime you bring in, you keep under your watch, under your wealth. That's what I mean, invested in yourself. Can be dangerous, because that can invite the wrong people. But then you put your money in the bank and you
why would that invite the wrong people?
Because sometimes people have a tendency to talk. And I'm not saying if you're a talker, they're a talker, whoever it is, you never know who it is. For a person to keep money in a shoebox, somebody's gonna know.
Why?
I don't know.
They only will know if you tell them.
I just said someone is going to sooner or later going to talk. Whether it be the person who has the money, somebody snooping, whatever, however it goes, it's a dangerous thing. We all know that. Keeping money in the house is a dangerous thing. Yes, it's only dangerous if people find out. We get that, Tom. We get it. The point is that it's not being done at a high magnitude anymore. I also get that too.
Depending on the person.
But that's what a lot of people are not saving money at home unless you're that type of person who's making that money all the time.
Some people save money at home because they don't want the financial institutions to know exactly what they got.
That's true. Although there are many skills that might fall under the umbrella of financial literacy, popular examples include household budgeting, learning how to manage and pay off debts, and evaluating the trade-offs between different credit and investment products. What they mean by different credit and investment products? I get the fact of managing and paying off your debts. That's a hard thing to do too.
Because a lot of times to have your money, like you would say, sitting in your mattress, if you invest it properly, you can build a benefit on your money. You can build an increase on your money.
I would like to build a benefit on my money. I really would like to build the benefit on my. What is the benefit of building on your money?
The increase in cash flow.
Increase in cash flow.
If you invest,
you know what? I think of a lot of us have that problem in investing. Period. A lot of us don't know how to save. I think someone has to teach us how to save in order for us to save, because we don't save.
But as we said in the prior conversation before the show, that you have to have something to save.
Yeah, but so everybody has something to save.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Some people, money is spent before they get it.
So does financial literacy work for a person who lives check to check? Because it's somewhere in between, he has to use that check for something.
But due to the literacy of knowing your finances, you make a way for yourself, because you understand what you're working with, what you're trying to do, and you even if your path to get there is minimal, you still maintain that path.
What's the average?
You can't put an average.
Hold on. Let me ask the question first. Okay. I can't even put average. You don't even know what I'm putting the average on.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the average pay scale, yearly pay scale for a working person?
That's what I was going to tell you. You can't say that because it depends on the job. It depends on the level of the person.
Okay, so why you can't average it out? Like, is it a possibility that it could be 40 to 41,000 a year? The average person is making anywhere between 30 to 35. Why you can't round it out?
I wouldn't know.
Why?
I wouldn't know because I know people from different walks of life, so I don't know which ones you're asking. If you're asking people who have benefited from their education and have this type of job,
okay, I'm gonna take the shot.
One level, I'll take the shot. That's what I said. Take a shot.
I'll take the shot. I'm gonna say that the average working class person makes between, I'm gonna say, 40 to 45. Let me look it up. That's
okay. There you go.
The average working class.
This time I didn't hit you with it.
Yeah. I'm going to say 40 to 45. Okay. Let me see the average.
Based on your environment?
That's a good one. Yearly salary. The average yearly salary. The average yearly salary. Now, this is crazy.
I'm listening.
So the average income by the state of 2022, New York City has the average household. Wow, this can't be right, yo. This can't be right. I'm gonna hold on, because I'm looking right here at something, and this can't be right, because you got to look at it with a 2 household minimum. So let's go back.
That's why I was saying it depends on the criteria and what you're talking about. Okay. You can't just throw a number out there.
What is the average?
They hitting you with criterions now.
So they're trying to tell you that, look, including an amount of all salaries and wages, but also an unearned income of investments of capital gain. The average gross annual wage per full-time employee in the U.S. was $74,000 in 2021, or around $6,228 per month, $4,700 $648 year more than in the previous year. That's crazy. So they're trying to tell you that each household averaged at about $6,000 per month.
No, they're saying the average in the country. They said the word.
It says the average gross annual wage per full-time employee in the U.S.
In the U.S. Okay, that's the word.
Was $74,738,000 a year.
Okay,
that was in 21. Mm-hmm. So you figure that they averaged out at around $6,228 per month. I don't see that.
Why didn't you break it down to New York or the Bronx?
Okay, let's break it down. In New York, it said the average pay scale in the household was $101,945.
And that's probably based on the lifestyles of thinking New York. You know how they say if you're living in New York, you're paying the high condo.
You're paying the high condo, yes.
That's why when you first asked the question, I said I can't give you a number because it depends on.
Okay, so look, here we go. I got a better question. Mm-hmm. What salary is considered rich in New York? Okay, so in the U.S. overall, it takes a net worth of 2.2 to be considered wealthy by Americans.
2.2 million.
2.2 million to be wealthy by Americans, up to 1.9 million last year, according to financial service company Charles Schwab's annual Morning Wealth.
That's per household or individual?
They're trying. I guess that's per household. It says what salary is considered rich, so I guess 2.2 is considered wealthy. That's
salary
crazy.
is could be individual.
What is considered rich? Okay, so that's 2.2. What is considered high income? Okay, let's do that. For high earners, a 3-person family needed an income between $106,000 and $373,000 to be considered upper class. Wow. I don't get it. I don't get it. And see, my thing is, if anybody, to me in my book, if anybody who makes $100,000 a year, is he part of the financial literacy program? Because he's able to do certain things that you and I might not be able to do.
But that's where we spoke prior before the show, and we had yesterday when we had the discussion, and I was saying it's not based on the dollar amount because he could not be financial. It doesn't mean because he makes $100,000 a year, it doesn't mean he's financially literate. It doesn't mean that. He could just have a high income flow, but how he budgeted his money is what gives you the literacy, from my understanding. That's why I said it's not based on how much money you have, it's what you do with the money you have. Being that certain individuals have less to do with, they have less that they can save.
But if you put us in a category the way you do, and you break us down the way the government puts us in a category, you're telling me that $100K a year is wealthy. You're telling me that $200K a year is rich, but to me, I don't get it.
They're basing that on what you can do with that $100,000. Now, if you don't do it and you have other obligations or things that prevent you from being successful with $100,000, they're saying if you're making $100,000 a year, you should be well off. That's what they're saying.
Okay, so this one makes sense. It says, what is middle class for a single person? The Pew Research Center has put a financial definition to them middle income to be considered part of the group in 2021, which is synonyms with middle class according to Pew. I don't know, P-E-W, Pew. I don't know who that is. We'll figure that out. A single American must earn $30,000 to $90,000 according to set new reports released Wednesday. So in order for you to consider middle class, you have to make between $30,000 to $90,000 a year. So
what?
Yeah.
30 and 90. That's kind of broad.
Kind of broad. That gives you,
and that's kind of low.
For could be considered middle class?
30,000. You're not middle class with $30,000 a year.
No, what do you consider that? Because according to the survey here in 2021, which is synonymous with middle class, according to Pew, a single American must have earned $30,000 to $90,000 according to set new reports released
to be middle class.
To be labeled as middle class.
I don't agree with that. Making $30,000 a year. Oh, they said single though.
It says a single person,
right? So I'm trying to understand.
But even if you have a single person who makes $90,000 a year, that's not middle class.
No, I'm going with the 30. That's not middle class.
Definitely not. But wait, hold on. We're going to deal with the poor part. Because to me, that's the relief of not poor but not middle class.
Well, that's why I went to the 30,000.
Well, I want to go high. I want to go to the 90 first.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to shoot to the 90 because 90 doesn't put you in the rich category, but you're not middle class either.
Why?
What 90,000 will put you in middle class?
I kind of believe that.
Mm.
What do you think? It put you higher than middle class?
No, I don't even think with 90,000 you can see middle class. That's why.
That's why I disagree so much with the 30,000.
I say that's upper middle class. Lower middle class. Sorry.
Okay, it's still middle class. How
Mm.
you gonna say it's lower middle class?
Because I'm being modest.
Middle class?
I want to be modest. I want to say 90,000 doesn't even put you in the category of
$90,000 a year for a single individual.
You don't bring home 90,000. See, here's the way I'm looking at it. You're looking at it as, okay, a person makes 90,000. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
A person makes 90,000 a year, right? After taxes and everything else, what does he bring home?
70, maybe.
Maybe 70, maybe. That's being
64.
modest. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Now what you bringing home doesn't leave you it doesn't leave you in middle class. So the government puts you in a class, but they take away the money, which doesn't keep you in your class. So how can you say if I make 90,000, I'm considered middle class when after taxes, that puts me below middle class standard?
Okay, but let me explain something to
you.
I'm
listening.
Also.
Go ahead.
To be financially literate
right.
is also the understanding of how to reduce all that you pay to the IRS.
Right, but here's my thing: is you're not going to reduce a working person making 90,000 is not going to reduce anything. Wherever state, depending on the state, and I do agree with you on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But let's keep it in New York. In New York, you have to pay federal, state, city, right? Those are your taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have to pay your Social Security. You have to pay that lady FICA, and there's something else I know that mandatory comes out your check. I can't think of what it is. Those things right there. Mm-hmm. That right there puts you in the category of almost taking.
Now, there's also other things like medical that
based
on the job.
Right.
Based on the job.
Right.
You have union.
But see, financial literacy doesn't tell you anything about the medical part, where some people have to pay out of pocket.
But if your job doesn't provide medical, then that wouldn't come out your check. If your job provides medical, it would either be free or a small portion come out your check.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So you gotta think of the average person. Okay, so I'm not in the union, but people that are in the union do pay union dues, and those come out automatically, correct?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so think about all the things that come out automatically along with all the taxes. If you're going to break down that $90,000 you're talking about. That's why I'm so intent on the 34,000 you mentioned is in middle class. Think of $34,000 for a single person. Just think of the average apartment for a single person is about $1,000, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Might be higher, might be lower.
I'm going to say $1,200.
Okay, so total up $1,200 for a year, for every month.
That's
and deduct it from that 34,000 and tell me what the person has left.
Right. Nothing.
The person basically has, you say 12,000, and then you got that's 2 more thousand. So 14,000 out of it. So now they left with 20,000. Okay. Then go into the cell phone, cable.
Unnecessary stuff.
Who said the cell phone's unnecessary?
See, at this
point, a cell phone is necessity.
That's why I'm glad that we having this conversation about financial literacy. See, the part I always like to contest with is the saving part, because that's the part where a lot of people have a problem with. You can't save if all you want to do is spend. It's not going to work. If you constantly put yourself in a situation where money's coming out your pocket, then you're not following a good program.
If you're not able to generate the same flow coming in.
No, it doesn't. No. Forget about the flow coming in. Your flow coming in is steady. If you're a person making 30,000, you chop down to maybe 21,000 a year. And that 21,000 a year, like you said,
15 just now.
Okay, well, and you said with the rent,
14, 50, yeah,
yeah, with the rent. So you're left with about $6,000 a year to play with
to pay for your cell phone and your cable bill.
My whole thing is, but do you need it? My thing is that is not a necessity because you keep yelling cell phone and you keep yelling what's name, but you ain't said nothing about food. You gotta put that food on the table.
I'm telling you,
right? And my thing is, you how do you expect the person to save? See, what I'm trying to say is financial literacy should definitely be paid attention by a lot of people because you're losing a quarter of your money before you even get a chance to pay your bills.
Before you even get it.
And like you can't save if the government is taking 3/4 of your money. How are you going to save? And then they keep telling people like, okay, so I'm going to put you in this middle class bracket. Now, this is good for people who own homes. If you're a person who's owning a home right now, this pandemic affected you real bad.
Go ahead.
Because especially if you were not able to work. Your interest rates are different. Your tax laws have just changed on you. And the property tax, it's different. So a homeowner right now is going to have a hard time saving. You can't even get the city or state to pay for the damages that might have been done already. And I'm not talking about people who live in the suburbs. I'm talking about people who got homes in the city, people who got homes out in the woods, wherever you at. Wherever you paying the property tax on a home, not an apartment, not a townhouse, on a home. You couldn't get no real refunds for your damages right now. So it's a lot to say when the government walks in and takes what he wants straight off the top. I find it hard for people. Go ahead.
You almost sound like you're blaming the government.
No, I'm not blaming the government.
Okay, wait, that's just part of my comment.
I'm sorry.
The rest is that if a person have established a house, as you said,
right,
they and are doing pretty good, they have accomplished some type of financial literacy to be able to balance that.
Right.
Now, as you said, as the taxes and things go up, they have to make adjustments.
Right. Is that fair to a homeowner?
It's the way of the land, whether it's fair or not.
Yeah, but see, the whole thing, especially when you know,
it's something you got to do. So whether it's fair or not, doesn't matter. You have to make the adjustment.
That's when it becomes personal finances. Because then you have to make an adjustment of whether you want to live or do you want to live.
No, you make an adjustment towards your income. Because like I said, you had to have some literacy.
You can't
wait a minute. You had to have some literacy to get to this point.
Right.
So you have to use that same literacy to accomplish the upgrades that we made.
I can't say that because you see, for a person who was in the pandemic, they didn't choose to walk away from their jobs. They lost their jobs because everything folded.
Okay.
So you can't say that at this point they chose. This is not their choice.
No, I never said they chose.
But they still have to make their
adjustments.
But there is no adjustment if you're not working. You can't adjust because there's nothing coming in. And if
that depends on the individual. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That depends on the individual.
Okay.
Because some people are able to do other things and some people aren't.
See, here it tells you to be financially literate is to know how to manage your money. This means learning how to pay your bills, how to borrow, how to save, and responsibility, and how to invest and plan for retirement.
Right.
Now, see, as a person, now I can get this line because I plan for my retirement. At first, I didn't.
Some people borrowed out of their retirement.
Some people still
for their retirement.
Some people
at this time. So that's part of the. Not to cut you off, I'm gonna let you finish. But that's part of the financial literacy is that you put away a nest egg. They talk about that. You put away a nest
borrow
egg
for yourself.
No, not to borrow, but you put away a nest egg for situations like this.
Yeah, but
it's about being prepared. That's part of the literacy.
And I get that part. That's why I understand that times like this when it's hard. And you
would have that coffee can in the corner that you've been filling up.
When you had all that and take all that,
that $20 you do in that can every week or whatever for the past 10 years.
I get it, but the recovery for this right now it has to improve. And they're telling you that if you put in your whole financial development, it'll improve your savings and investing decisions. But a lot of people can't invest. You can't make investment part of a financial literacy if you have no people to invest. How many people get an annuity program? There's a lot of people don't get that.
But you also got to remember throughout the pandemic, a lot of people created jobs.
That's what I'm saying. But they all created their own personal. I was going there. That's a good point. Let's go.
No, I got another direction I want to go in. You just mentioned something, and you was talking about a person with a business or a home, and due to pandemic. Now, in reference to the government,
right?
I've read something in the paper today where a man was found guilty and he has to do some time. I forgot what it was. I was showing it in the newspaper at work that he was charged with taking $400 million that the government gave
it to him
for alleged job. How you call it? Alleged.
He was bamboozled.
No, he did the bamboozling.
He did the bamboozling.
Right. And
was he
this
black?
It was part of relief package.
Was he black?
No. It was part
not
of
that matters, but
right. It doesn't. It was part of relief package because black person probably wouldn't have got that money. But anyway, it's part of the relief package that they gave him to help his business. But it was fraudulent.
Fraudulent money.
Right. He took $400 million from the state.
Knowing damn well it didn't belong to him.
Right. Saying that his business suffered that much and they gave him $4 million. But then they found out he wasn't supposed to get.
Is that PPPL or PPP?
Yeah. Yes.
I can't. What
PPP.
PPP.
The
PayPal to the payers.
Something
whatever
like
that was. Yeah.
Proprietors plan something like that where they help out the businesses. All the money that they gave the businesses and they supposed to take care of the employees that fought through COVID or got sick through COVID or lost finances through COVID, all of that. Businesses that shut down due to COVID, that was part of that relief plan. And he got $4 million of that money.
I think people should really pay attention to their financial literacy. If you're a person who has an account, like know your difference between your commercial banks and your standard banks and your credit institutions. They're not banks. They're credit institutions. Because with your credit institution, you are investing into yourself. Please know that for sure. Do you realize that there are a lot of, if you know a lot of city workers, if you know a lot of state workers use MCU, right? The reason why they use MCU is not necessarily for their checking, but it's for their savings. The interest rate is beautiful. So if you can get yourself into MCU, get yourself into MCU. The
interest rate on your savings
is beautiful. It's not like how you would do like in Chase. I keep a checking with Chase because it doesn't cost me to. If I go zero balance,
direct deposit.
Yeah. If I go zero balance, I'm okay. You can't do that with MCU in their checking. You have to keep a certain amount. So there are times when you're in Chase that let's understand that you may do overdraft. You're not getting that here. But when you do the savings with MCU and you try to do the saving with Chase savings is bad because you have to keep a certain amount in your savings, $500. I can't do that.
Okay, but so how do you grow interest on money with MCU if you don't keep the money in there?
Because MCU also has a side program which they take out where they give you what they call a side investment. Like some people may use it as a Christmas fund or things like that. So you're allowed to get that third party in there, which I think helps out a lot of people because there are times you have to dip into your savings. But MCU interest rates are so good, you can open up maybe a savings, a Christmas fund, and a traveling.
I understand that,
right?
But I'm trying to understand how do you gain interest on money you keep messing with?
You never see the whole ability is that you're never really gonna. The average person, to me, I can't say ever really is going to gain interest. How long does it take to gain interest in a bank, and how long do you have to leave your money there?
Well, that's
what I'm saying. The average person really doesn't leave no more than maybe $500-600 in a saving.
See, when you say average person,
I'm going by the average salary environment. But I have to go by the environment in which I live.
Okay, well, you have to let them know
now
that.
It's got to be obvious. If you're not a person who makes $100,000, I'm not talking to you.
They don't know that.
Oh man, please. You can only do financial literacy with the money that you make, your yearly salary. Please don't think that you can financially set yourself up like a person who makes 90,000. It's not going to work for you if you're making 30,000. No, that doesn't work for you. You won't be able to save what that person saved. Maybe you can or will, but it also depends on the person's living situation. Because 90% of the people who make, no, that's a high percentage.
No, I didn't say that.
40% of the people who make 30,000 usually live with somebody. So even though the government cuts you down to maybe 20, 21,000 a year, you still got maybe 8, 9,000 a year to play with. And which most people say, well, that's not true. Well, you know, listen, most people choose to spend when they got that extra kind of money. Their first thing they think about is not even a house. They be like, oh, I can buy me a car.
Transportation.
I think cars are the one reason why a lot of people are having trouble saving too.
Yeah, but
I would like to get rid of
in
mine.
the environment of New York, I could understand that because they have mass transit that goes everywhere.
Everywhere.
But if you live somewhere where there's no buses and no trains, then that a car becomes a necessity.
I don't know.
You don't know. You being somebody who like your AC and like to get where you think you're going, if you're living in the suburban of South Carolina,
let's just say if I was in Carolina,
okay,
I definitely would need. You definitely would need a car.
It becomes a necessity.
It does become a necessity.
Okay,
it does.
So we understand each other.
We understood each other. It does become a necessity. I think I think a lot of people have to understand that financial literacy is upon us right now. Even with the pandemic, a lot of people have turned into different types of financial investments and things like that because a lot of people started to invest in themselves. So it's funny to see how this is going to turn out. They're telling the world that right now we're going through a drought, right? But people are still spending, buying cars, doing this and that. I don't think we're in a drought. I believe people are just finding different ways to
make money.
Make money.
Okay, now if someone is telling you that we're in a drought, but they don't see it, why should they react to what you're saying?
I don't know.
Well, that's what you're basically talking about.
We're let's see. Let's how we can put this.
It also takes time.
Right.
It takes time to learn about the finances.
Right.
It's not something that you just go, okay, I'm gonna just do it different this day. You have to take time to learn your banks, to learn to learn towards where you need to go and what it's going to take to get there. Yeah, there's also a time factor. A lot of people due to this pandemic and even after, and now we're dealing with monkeypox and all of that. A lot of people lost their patience.
You know, a lot of people going to make money off this because this medicine. So much medicine that went around within the last 5 years.
Okay, who's making money off the medicine?
That's what I'm trying to find out. I have to follow
it's not our environment.
No.
Okay.
Nothing right now. Anything that made money during this pandemic did not help any type of environment right now. And I'm talking about people who live under certain conditions. No, didn't help at all. Because you didn't get nothing. You understand? The people who got rich kept it. For those who got rich, who the hell goes to the moon during a pandemic?
Those are the financial literacy people that making money off of others' or for others' agony, as they could say. These drug companies, that's what they do all the time.
I can't fault no one. I can't fault no one to.
I'm not faulting no one. I'm telling you just how it rotates around.
That's true.
They're gonna make money.
I can't tell no one how to spend or what to spend. All I can say is, it took me a minute to sit down. I want to tell a quick story before we get out of here. When this pandemic first hit, I froze. Like I had my 401ks, my annuity accounts, my 351 or whatever you call that shit.
You're the person they want to rob.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. All that took a toll on my mind. I was ready to pull my money all out of everything. Like, oh no, everything is gonna drop. I can't do it. Somebody called me, right?
Panicked.
I did. Someone called me. Someone who was really dear to my mom's called me and said to me, listen, I know right now what you're thinking. Don't do it. Don't pull your money out. And if my dad was here, he would probably tell me the same thing. Like, nah, don't pull your money out. Sit tight. I waited. I lost my job. we were out of work for a while. We couldn't go to work. We were out of work for a while, so we couldn't do certain things. I mean, it wasn't a bad situation, but you know, we were surviving. People were getting along. People got lazy around that time. People created new things. They lost things. But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is I held on. And the results that I got right now are incredible. Like my stock has definitely went up. Now, for everybody who has the 401ks or the 4K program, whatever you call it, you might fluctuate right now because of what's happening with the pandemic. Certain medicine, depending on who invests what or where they invested. I'm rooting, and it's sad to say that I'm rooting, but look, this is my retirement plan. I'm actually kind of proud that my dad allowed me to pick his brain, which I'm gonna allow my children when the time comes to pick my brain on how to invest their money too. And I've been trying to tell my children, listen, there's times to see what the thing is. Like, a lot of people have this thing about investing in things that you can see, like Bitcoins and things like that. I learned a lot with financial literacy by reading a lot of things. First of all, you don't have to invest big in order to receive big. You have to invest according to what you have. Mm-hmm. If you're a person who can't save, if you could say, okay, well, every $100 a month, you know what I did? I'm a person who cannot save. I cannot. But instead of saving, what I did was I invested my money. So what I did was I just started to invest in myself. So this way, what I did was instead of saying I'm gonna put the savings in my MCU account, I would take $100 and add it to my 401k or my annuity or whatever. Because you're allowed to put money into yourself. Because what happens is once you invest into yourself, you get it back at the end. So don't be afraid to say, you know what, I'm going to take $100. You could take $100 and split it 4 ways and say, I'm going to put one in my annuity. I'm going to put one in my 401k. I'm going to put one in another retirement plan, put one in another retirement plan over here.
You want to know the flip side to that is?
Yes.
There is a percentage of people that's not relying on putting all that money away for it to go to somebody else that they're not going to get to enjoy. What they say they want to get to enjoy their money now.
Well, that's people who are investing in on the lines of Social Security. I wouldn't invest nowhere near that right now. And I know what you're saying, but there are so many different types of, yes, you can invest into Social Security.
No, I ain't talking about investing. They want to spend their money now. They want to go on these trips.
But that's the problem with financial literacy.
But that's a problem for who?
For the people who want to spend now, but then you cry later.
If they cry later, they thinking they're not going to be here later. They living for now.
But then I can't help those.
No, I'm just saying there are different people that choose.
Then that's not who I'm talking to.
To be.
If you're a person who doesn't want to save or doesn't, then that's you. You have to live with that. You have to live with the choices you make. I deal with that sometimes in my personal life, where I have people around me who get money for themselves, and they'll spend their money according to the way they want to spend their money.
That the way they're happy.
But I choose to take my money and build myself an empire. I build myself an empire which will recuperate my money back to me. Mm-hmm. You can't be angry at me for financially investing in myself.
Not at all.
And then when I'm telling you, like, listen, I'm already providing you with what you need. Now, that doesn't mean I'm taking care of anybody. That's not what I'm saying. So please don't misunderstand or Mr. Screwed, or you see my woman like, yo, your man say he's taking care of you. No, I did not say that. I'm saying that in people around me, sometimes when they get their money, they would like to do what they want with their money. I have no problem with that. But then when your money's going, you can't swim over to the water into my money. And I'm not saying that you can't have none. I'm saying you can't swim over to it.
I'm saying you can't have none.
Well, I mean, everybody's different. I got enough that I can share. But the point is, I shouldn't have to share if you listen to me. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to tell you that, yo, if you want to go out, maybe you should go out once a month until you're able to accumulate to get to 2 a month.
Well, they don't have to listen to you. They can do their own homework.
No, listen, whether you choose to follow a program that I set for myself is on you. My whole thing of having the show is to give you an example of financial literacy at a low level. I'm a low level brother. I don't make a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money. Like if it wasn't for people like Tone and people like that who believe in me, I wouldn't have a lot of things. But I choose to invest. I invested in myself. I found out what I was worth. I found out that if I get on this mic, sooner or later somebody's gonna bless me with a reward. So you got to be patient. You got to wait. This is my investment. It's gonna pay off. It will pay off. It might not pay off on the level that a lot of people say, well, I don't see your numbers. I don't see you this, but you know what? How it has paid off so far? I want you to look at our set. One day I'm gonna do a real live of our set, of the things that we really have, not what you see on the day. I'm talking about stuff that we really have. And Tone can understand what I'm saying, because I know he has told me many times. If we lay out everything we have, we basically have our own television station. Am I lying?
Yeah, but
I'm lying?
I didn't say you was lying.
You just said, yeah, but.
Yeah, but what's
the purpose?
I want to see what you get.
The point I'm trying to say is I took the time to invest. I did not only just invest in myself, I invested in my associate and my friends. It's a platform, people. During the pandemic, something has changed me and made me realize that I watch all these other people who do YouTube, who subscribe and like and do subscribe and like Facebook with all that, did all of this, did all of that. And I felt like, man, you know what? These people made a killing. Somebody said you should follow. So at first I did. I followed, but I followed for the wrong reasons. I followed because I thought, oh man, I'm gonna make a killing. Not realizing that it's an investment. There's rules and things to this. There's advertisement. There's investing in yourself. There's borrowing from yourself. There's loans. It's so much things that go into building. And even on top of what having a LLC, we still, but it's paying off. Within the last 2 years, we've been getting a lot of free stuff. A lot of people have we haven't really gotten nothing new because, back in the days, if you look at us, we used to advertise everybody. Newer, Logitech, Paul Masson. We had to revamp ourselves. Sometimes you have to go into this thing like, yo, you got to let the people know what you're worth. Let them reach out. It's going to take time, but let them reach out. You keep reaching out to somebody and they keep slapping you down, but yet you still providing them with free advertisement. We can't do it anymore, people. Investment is very important. Financial literacy is very important. You must learn to save, invest, borrow, and then make sure the one thing that you do that's the most important part of this whole thing is pay the bills. You can't recuperate if you ain't putting out now. I'm just saying. I like this. There's gonna be a part 2 to this.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there reading, understanding a high yield savings account, which you was talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
High yield savings account will earn you money, but I'm trying to see what's this time span that you have to have your money stationary.
For a while.
It speaks about a limited number of monthly transactions and a lesser timely fund transfer process.
So basically, with these new banks, you basically got to put your money in the savings and can't touch it. You can't touch it for basically. They're trying to tell you.
It depends, because this one says limited. It didn't say can't.
Right, but limited usually means that you get maybe 3 transactions per year. It's like when Chase tells
monthly.
That's probably not going to give you monthly.
It says limited number of
monthly
transactions. In other words, okay, my bank in Connecticut only gives you 3 actually for a month.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I thought it would be like how Chase only they give you 3 chances to erase your overdraft, right? But you only get 3 a year.
But we talking about savings stuff.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm figuring that's the way you was talking, how Chase does theirs with their overdraft. How they tell you, they'll let you overdraft at a certain time, but you only get 3 chances a year to erase the overdraft fee.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
You only get 3 times. So I always do mine in November, where I just say, you know what? I take my 3 at one time. That's a gift to myself. I just wait, hold it, Because I mean, what's the sense?
Don't it amount to the same amount?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So what sense does it make for me to say, okay, I'm gonna take away my overdraft fee?
Well, they already raised the overdraft. In other words, they don't overdraft less than $50 now.
What?
You didn't know that?
No. I read something like that. I don't think it said, but I know what you mean. I'll definitely have to reread that. I did read something to that effect.
You don't see a fee if it's under $50. So if you like get $40 worth of gas you get like tomorrow. A lot of people get paid tomorrow. Say you go get gas $40 today. The overdraft is not going to charge you a fee because it's under $50.
I don't believe it, but I'll look it up.
Okay. I guess you're not a real chaser.
I mean, shit. It was money the motherfuckers that took from me. Now they're my real chaser. I'm a runner too.
You're not a real chaser if you don't know that.
Well, I didn't know. You enlightened me on something. That's that time to get up out of here, people. We want to thank everybody for the Rand and Jones show.
If you have anything to share regarding finances, or if you took some financial classes and went to share some information, we'd love to have you leave some messages, maybe even get you to call in on the show to help educate some of our people out here that's trying to be financially literate, like myself.
It's a hard thing though, but I'm learning.
It is a hard thing when you got the demands. When you got the demands that are on you, and a lot of times it all has to do with your literacy too, because you put the demands on you. Your demands that you have is what you choose. Nobody could put any demands on you that you don't sign an okay with. Yeah. And that's got to do with family life, all of that.
I know I'm ready to go.
All right.
Love y'all. Yeah. Go ahead. Hit it.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
And it's not over yet, y'all. Let's wash our hands.
Not over yet. Wash your hands. Until we meet again, people. Until we can see each other on the screen again. I am Big Rand. That is my host, Tony Tone.
Express yourself, people.
Express yourself.
Share with us.
Love unconditional, please. We need the world to continue. Y'all have a good evening.
No, I'm not perfect, no. I made my mistakes, no. But all I want is love unconditional. Love unconditional. I don't deserve it, no. But it would be worth it all. All I want is love unconditional. Love unconditional. I was always thinking about ways to do better, so focused on making cheddar so we could live forever in a better spot, better place. Things moving right today. All I wanna do is make you smile in the best of ways. We done been through a whole lot, but we here, baby. No ifs and buts and no maybes. You done gave me some boys, I done made some noise, but I bought us some toys, so we live and enjoy. And I was always about what you can have and what you want, girl. I make sure it's warm in this whole world. When your friends say friends say that she don't like how I keep buying you things. What's wrong with her? She need to change the way she living, how she giving the love that she giving. What's wrong with them? They mad cause the family matching when we hopped up out of the wagon.